Is anyone in here a small business owner or wanna own a business? Okay, okay, Cam, since he's. Okay, I want you to guess how much more a year it would cost you for just one employee if you paid them $15 an hour versus minimum wage. Like, just guess.
$100,000.
Wait, for one employee?
Oh. See, that's
Okay, well, for one employee, it costs you $16,000, and if you had 5 employees, it cost you $80,000. Raising minimum wage sounds like a good idea until you think about the consequences. Minimum wage jobs are low-skilled jobs that are usually ideal or suitable for teenagers or young adults as a gateway into the workforce, or simply for gas or spending money. They're not meant for adults with bills or children. I've always been against the idea of raising minimum wage, so I was already educated, but I did a lot of credible research and got a lot more facts. In this speech, I'll be covering the consequences if minimum wage was raised to $15 an hour in our country. I'll be discussing the effects for business owners, consumers, and even other workers. So first, we're going to talk about consequences for business owners. So one, they'll obviously have to pay their employees more money, coming up with about $60,000 more a year for a minimum wage employee. They're going to have to raise their prices to make up for that money, and that will result in less business. The cost of their supplies, materials, or merchandise will be higher. They'll have to cut their amount of workers to the bare minimum, most likely resulting in being short-staffed and overpaying minimum wage employees. They will no longer be able to afford to pay those who previously made over minimum wage more than the new minimum wage. Big companies like Walmart will be able to handle these extra costs, but your local grocery store, coffee shop, or clothing store will be shutting down. Starting a new business will be nearly impossible unless you're already very wealthy. So, business owners will have to come up with an extra $80,000 plus a year to pay for their employees, while also paying more for their merchandise and losing business. Now we'll be covering the consequences for consumers. So prices will have to accommodate for paying employees more, so that $4 burger will now cost $5.50. Due to companies having to let employees go, you'll have to wait much longer for any kind of service you have done. Just going through the drive-thru at a fast food restaurant or getting coffee may take twice as long as it did before. Your shopping options will be cut down. Small businesses who can only afford minimum wage workers will probably shut down. You may not be able to afford to support your friends with local businesses because they'll have to raise their prices to be able to pay their workers. Large chain stores will become very busy because they'll be the only ones that can pay that much. And those who live in small areas will have to drive to get services. So like where I live, you're gonna have to drive 30 minutes just to go to the grocery store. Next, I will be talking about how raising minimum wage will affect workers. So those who already made $15 an hour are not likely to get another raise. So this means you're going from making quite a bit over minimum wage to making minimum wage. So you're actually better off if we just left it how it was. If you're currently making $9 an hour, the odds of your employer paying you $15 an hour are very slim. So again, you went from making $2 over minimum wage to making minimum wage. Raising minimum wage would also kill jobs. Between having to pay their employees more, losing business due to higher prices, making less revenue, and having to pay for their materials, business owners will be forced to cut down to the bare minimum. It is a fact that 96% of employees in America today make over minimum wage. So this means that most employees don't just pay minimum wage. So we're actually better off now where mostly everyone makes more than minimum wage versus whenever you have to pay $15 an hour, more people are going to be on minimum wage. It would also make jobs more competitive and would result in hurting those who need a job most. Who will a business let go first? The person who had the money to get a degree or someone who came from nothing and doesn't have an education? The one who has a lot of work experience or the new graduate who really needs a job? Those who have had a disadvantage in life, didn't go to school, are immigrants, or are disabled will be squeezed out of the minimum wage jobs that they need most. Due to less jobs being available, less people will be able to work. This will result in more people being on welfare, which means not only did your check go from over minimum wage to minimum wage, but now more money is gonna be taken out of your check each week. So as you can see, while at first you thought raising minimum wage to $15 an hour may help people, the consequences not only outweigh the good, but destroy the good that is said to come from it. I don't even know what that meant. Even though it is believed that raising minimum wage will help workers, there will be more consequences, not only for the employees, but small businesses and consumers. As someone who lives in a very small area where businesses struggle to survive and people drive over an hour to the city just to make a decent wage, I can't imagine what would happen to the people in my area alone. Thank you for listening to my persuasive speech over minimum wage. I hope you learned something. I persuaded you in some way to think of the real effects this would cause. And then I don't have a slide of my sources, but they're just a video on YouTube from Learn Liberty, an article from fee.org, and an article from symmetry.com.